So recently, Manchester United striker Marcus Rashford lobbied for the UK government to provide food to low-income families who would not be able to feed their kids adequately since schools were closed down in the UK. Now, this is significant and such a great piece of news because the government in the UK was originally not going to provide food to low-income families during lockdown. So, yeah, before I get into what Marcus Rashford has been doing with this platform, I want to show you this clip by Good Morning Britain where Piers Morgan and Susanna Reid are interviewing the Health Secretary Matt Hancock. He's part of the Conservative Party, which are the ruling party in the UK. And they are asking him about whether he regretted voting against extending free school meals to families over the holidays. And also, there was a recent scandal where the company that was contracted by the government to deliver food to low-income families, the food parcels they gave to these families were horrible. They were supposed to be £30 in value, but what came in the packages were just a few bananas, a few juice boxes, and bottles of water. So the food parcels were supposed to be worth £30, but they were around £5. Take a look at the interview, and then I'm going to give my thoughts after.
I'm really glad that we're able to send out food for those who receive free school meals when schools are in. And I'm really glad that we're able to do that when schools are out.
If you're that glad, can I just ask you a difficult question? Why did you vote against it?
Well, I'm really glad we were able to put it into place.
Yeah, but if you're that glad about being able to put it into place, again, why did you, as Health Secretary, vote against this?
Well, because the reason that I'm glad now is because we've been able to sort that out and put it in place.
Well, the reason you're glad now is that you got shamed.
No, thanks to you.
Let's be honest, you got shamed into it by a football player, a young football player with a conscience, who managed to prick the conscience of you and the government. Do you regret now, given how glad you are that it's now happening, do you regret voting against it?
Well, of course, I'm pleased that we're making sure that.
That wasn't the question. I just asked if you regretted. But hang on, it's a very important question because you wouldn't have done it without Marcus Rashford campaigning. My question for you is, given how glad you now are that it's happening, do you regret voting against it? It's a yes or no.
Well, as I say, I'm really glad that it's happening.
But do you regret it? Do you regret voting against it?
So, in the interview that you just saw, my goodness, man, they really put it on Matt Hancock. They just showed how much of an elitist prick this guy is. How could you vote no against providing food to low-income families to feed their kids over lockdown? Like, I'm sure this Matt Hancock guy is probably some posh prick that never had to worry about going to bed hungry. To me, it's just absolutely disgusting. And it just goes to show you how much contempt the Tories, which is the Conservative Party, have for working class people in the UK. Like, it's a very simple question. Do you regret your vote to not extend the free school meal provisions over the lockdown? Yes, that's what any rational human being would have done. But the guy wanted to tap dance around it, and now that is the most viewed clip in Good Morning Britain's history. All for what? And you know what? It has to be said that it's such an embarrassment and such an indictment on the UK government that they can't ensure that their most vulnerable citizens have enough food for their kids to eat. Like, how is a family of 3 kids supposed to live off of a few bananas and a few juice boxes over 10 days? Especially if you have 3 kids. Instead of spending money on the defense budget because you have to protect your citizens, why don't you focus on spending more money on social programs so you don't see more people plunge into poverty? And that's what's going to happen because we're in a pandemic. More people are going to be ending up below poverty because of this. And also, many parents, because they're furloughed, are going to have to stay at home and act as teacher for their kids who are not going to even have enough money, enough food to make sure that they can think properly and focus on other things. So I really have to commend Marcus Rashford for this. I'm not even a Manchester United fan, but this dude is a legend in the making. He's already a member of the British Excellence because of his work. In fact, earlier last year, he was able to successfully lobby for them to extend these free school meal provisions, right? Now, again, in the beginning of this year, he has done the same thing again. The government has made a U-turn after Marcus Rashford lobbied for them to extend these free school meal provisions up until about February, right? Because, hey, you're in lockdown, right? These parents are furloughed, a lot of them. How are they supposed to make sure that their kids have enough food to eat? And I know some people are going to be like, oh, well, why don't parents just make sure that they are more responsible with their money? Why don't they just get a job? Look, there are many parents that are the most hardworking people you can ever come across. They work multiple jobs, and the jobs do not pay enough for them to adequately provide food and other necessities to their kids. All right? So don't shame working class people who are not responsible for the conditions of their economy and of their workplace. All right? And no kid should go to bed hungry. So that's what I really want everyone to take away from this video. Salute to Marcus Rashford. I hope that his work has pressured the UK government to stop messing around and to do what is right. But again, the Conservatives, they always want to focus on deflections and culture war issues. Like, there was even a Tory MP that said that in his borough of Mansfield, free school meal vouchers were effectively being used to fund brothels and crack dens. So it's that undeserving poor rhetoric again. Like, you think that poor people don't have bills to pay for, mouths to feed? You think that they're just going to be spending it on hamburgers and stuff like that? Like, this is the mindset of Conservatives, a lot of them. This is just an absolute disgrace. And then also this Matt Hancock prick was even saying that, oh, well, footballers, they should do that pot and make sure that the salaries are cut. Okay, I'm not against that, actually, like having professional soccer players having their salaries cut so that other employees on the team can keep their jobs. Sure. But you are in the government. It's your responsibility to make sure that everyone is taken care of, especially during a pandemic. But it's very easy to point fingers and call other people virtue signalers when you do nothing in return. But anyways, that's all I have to say about this. Salute to Marcus Rashford for what he's doing. He's a working class hero for sure. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this. Thank you for watching. Like this video if you want to see more. Click on the bell so you always get updates. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.